So we got the official announcement that Pokemon Go Fest is going to be returning to Chicago in 2026. And as someone who lives within the Chicagoland area, I had plenty of thoughts regarding this announcement, and I also wanted to dispel some things about Chicago that you might have heard of that is completely false. And that's what this video is going to be all about. Let's get right into it. Alright, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So, yeah, I am someone who lives in Chicago, and with the recent announcement that Pokemon Go Fest is coming back to Chicago, I obviously got really excited. Of course, this is not fully news because a couple of months ago, I did state that it was already revealed that Chicago was going to be getting Pokemon Go Fest, and that was actually revealed through local news. They stated that Niantic actually placed some event licenses for Pokemon Go Fest next year. So a lot of people had already assumed that Pokemon Go Fest would soon be announced to be taking place in Chicago, and it turns out that was all pretty much true. And I already talked about this back then, but I kind of wanted to reiterate, but I think there is a lot of people out there who are saying that Chicago is a very unsafe city. Chicago is a very major, very huge city. It does encompass a lot of different neighborhoods and a lot of different boroughs. Yeah, there's going to be violence in some of those places, but as long as you avoid those neighborhoods, you're going to be completely fine. And I do think that Niantic is probably going to have Pokemon Go Fest in either Grant Park or Lincoln Park, which are both really solid venues. I actually think they already determined where it's going to be, but regardless, I think it's going to be a really good time. And as someone who has lived in Chicago pretty much my entire life, I will tell you that this is one of the best cities in the world, and you really cannot know that until you visit Chicago. A lot of people just think about Chicago through what they hear in the news, and I tell you right now, it's not necessarily the big picture, because Chicago, compared to New York, compared to LA, I know a lot of people are going to argue with me on this, but I think it's got the best of both worlds. It's got the lakefront, which is Lake Michigan, and it kind of gives it that coastal city vibe of like Los Angeles or San Francisco, but it also has major metropolitan feels like New York City. And the one thing that I really like about Chicago compared to those other cities is just how insanely clean Chicago is. That's the one comment that I always get from people who are visiting from other cities, is that Chicago is just such a clean city. And the big reason for that is actually because we have alleyways, and that's where all the garbage goes, compared to New York, where there really isn't that many alleys, so you see a lot of the garbage just on the sidewalk. They do not have that problem here in Chicago. We have just a lot of really good infrastructure that allows for just clean streets and just a lot of just very beautiful sights. And I think that's one of the biggest pluses for having Pokemon Go Fest in Chicago, in that there's going to be great opportunities for just some amazing AR shots, for example, or for just some nice gatherings, because that has always been one of the nice things about having Pokemon Go Fest in Chicago, is that there's just a lot of places for you to go. And I did make a video regarding where the best places are to play Pokemon Go a long time ago. I'm probably going to do an update video to that when we get closer to Pokemon Go Fest. Right now I'm just kind of soaking it in. I'm just really excited that we're getting Pokemon Go Fest back. It's been maybe about 7 years since the last time Pokemon Go Fest was in Chicago, and I'm telling you, I miss it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed going to New York City for Pokemon Go Fest for the past few years, I would say. Like, I thought New York City was a really great host city for Pokemon Go Fest. It's a major city, of course. It's the biggest city in the United States. It's host to a lot of really great tourist spots. It's got pretty great infrastructure when it comes to traveling. Like, if you fly into LaGuardia and you could just take a train or take a lot of public transportation, you'll end up in your hotel. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But Chicago, I feel like Chicago can compete with New York. I think a lot of people do not understand just how good Chicago's infrastructure is. When it comes to driving, yeah, Chicago is miserable. In fact, I think it overtook New York as one of the most congested cities in the world. So I do suggest you avoid renting a car, trying to drive around. That's probably the worst thing you could do right now. It's pretty miserable as a Chicago native to try to drive into the city. But when it comes to public transportation, when it comes to our subway lines, when it comes to our buses, everything is really well set up. So you really cannot go wrong. Like, if you're just going to focus on public transportation, you're going to get around the city pretty easily. And yeah, it is a huge city. Like, going from Lincoln Park to Grant Park is a very long walk. It's a very beautiful walk, but it is a very long walk. It's a very big city. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really good time. If you've never been to Chicago, I think Pokemon Go Fest is probably one of the best reasons for you to visit this city. It's, in my opinion, one of the best cities in the world. In fact, I will say probably the only other city where I felt like it was extremely good was probably Seoul, South Korea. I haven't been to Tokyo. I haven't been to a lot of different cities in the world. I've been to plenty, but I honestly cannot think of another city that is as great as Chicago. So yeah, as someone who has been here their entire life, I do think it is worth coming to Chicago for Pokemon Go Fest, if you've been thinking about it. And let me tell you, everything you hear on the news, it's not completely true. Yes, there is gun violence here. Like I said, I do not want to be delusional here and say that there is no gun violence, but there's gun violence everywhere, right? In fact, I will, not to get political, but I think even in red states that I visited, it does still feel unsafe in certain areas. It's just a matter of like you being safe. It's just a matter of like you not being stupid and going to shady neighborhoods. Yes, they do exist in Chicago, but they're pretty far away from the city center. Yeah, just be smart and you'll be okay. So I do think overall, I know this is going to be very controversial and it might actually ding this video within the algorithm on YouTube, but I really do think Chicago is a safe city and you'll have a great time if you come out here for a Go Fest. And yeah, before I end this video, let me kind of reminisce a little bit and, think about some of the past Go Fest that we had here. First and foremost, we of course had the very first Go Fest here in Chicago. I think that was very memorable because it was like the first time we saw so many Pokemon Go players, so many notable Pokemon Go players come out to Chicago. It felt really good to be kind of like, I guess like the host for Pokemon Go Fest. And pretty much every Pokemon Go Fest after that, it just felt like Niantic kept stepping up their game. It was the Pokemon Go Fest of 2018. It was the second Go Fest. Niantic actually came out, I think like a month beforehand, and they were just pretty much in the city constantly, just testing out the tech, making sure there's cell signals, making sure there's no dead spots within Lincoln Park. And then they really engaged with the local community, which is DTC. That's the big Pokemon Go group. It's still going strong. It's kind of like, it just showed like how much they cared. And it was one of the times where I actually felt a lot of respect towards Niantic. I think up until that point, I was very critical. I still tend to be critical here and there, but I really did respect Niantic for making that kind of effort. It was when I met Michael Staranka for the first time, back when he was just a developer. Like, he's a really great guy. I give him a lot of credit. I think he's extremely passionate about the game. We talked about IVs. We talked about rating. We talked about, what Pokemon that I would like to see in Pokemon Go. Like, he's a really great guy, and I think he's someone who I'm really glad is at the helm of Pokemon Go. And none of that would have happened if it wasn't for Pokemon Go Fest, specifically in Chicago. I felt like every time I went to other cities for big events like this, like Pokemon Go Fest and Go Tour, I didn't really have as much of an interaction with some of the developers. And of course, it's because we didn't really have those chances, right? Like, during Pokemon Go Fest hours, they're going to be busy running around. But before Pokemon Go Fest, they're going to engage with the community. I'm really hoping that happens this time around. It really depends on what the culture is at Niantic nowadays, but it would be really nice if they were to come out a month beforehand and just hang out with the community and just talk about Pokemon Go, see what issues that they could circumvent, I think there's a lot of potential there for some really great interactions. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. But overall, yeah, I think this is all really good stuff. If you've never been to a Pokemon Go Fest, I think this is the one you should definitely go to. Flying to Chicago is not that expensive, I believe, from all different parts of the world. I think it's one of those major hub cities. It's kind of one of the cities where you see a lot of layovers. So yeah, just come here and check it out. It's going to be a great time. But in any case, yeah, that's just some thoughts that I had regarding this announcement. I know it's a little bit of like regurgitating what I said before in previous videos regarding Pokemon Go Fest coming back to Chicago, but still, I think it's all worth it's worthy of a discussion. And yeah, anyway, that's gonna be it for this video though. And yeah, I'd like to know your thoughts. If you're not from Chicago, what are your thoughts about Pokemon Go Fest coming back to Chicago? Are you excited at the idea of traveling for Pokemon Go Fest? Maybe some of you have never done that. Maybe you've only done the global Pokemon Go Fest, and maybe you live close enough to Chicago where, hey, you're willing to fly out. Definitely share if that's going to be you. I think it will be a lot of fun to talk about Pokemon Go Fest coming back to Chicago, so I look forward to seeing those comments. Make sure you share them. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to every single one of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, if you want to support everything that I do, the best way you could do that is always going to be by joining my Patreon. And if you decide to become a paid Patreon member, I'm actually going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, opening and sending gifts, the weekly challenges, all that good stuff. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, if that's something that interests you, make sure you go and check out my Patreon. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And another way you can support my channel is, of course, my social media pages. If you go to any of the platforms that you see on the bottom of your screen, look for me at Count Jinsula. Make sure you give me a follow, and you'll have access to some exclusive content, and you'll be able to keep up with my daily life. And before I end this channel, let me mention real quick that I actually have an Etsy store, and it's another way you could support my channel. If you go there, you're gonna find a whole bunch of custom-made K-pop merch, all designed by me. And maybe if you have someone in your life who is a big fan of K-pop, or you yourself is a big fan of K-pop, you might find something really cool there. So definitely go and check it out. I'll put a link to it as well in the description below. And with all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Count Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you in the next one.